Hey everyone, Angelo here. Welcome to another design tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about workflow, specifically working under strict deadlines. Okay, so having a good structure when you're designing will save you time. It helps you work more efficiently, and it helps you deliver your project to your client in a timely manner. Today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on some of the things that I do when I'm working in print design projects in specific. We'll go through some keyboard shortcuts, how to maneuver around pages, working with type, working with photos, images. So obviously having a structure in place beforehand is important, but let's just go through some of the steps today, and I will show you some keyboard shortcuts that I use when I'm working for any design, but specifically in Adobe InDesign. So as you can see here, I set up a 2-page spread with my guides, 6 rows, 4 columns, takes the guesswork out of it right away, okay? So let's start with how I maneuver around a page, okay? So obviously you don't want to use the scroll bars all the time. If you're zoomed out, that's not too bad. I mean, you don't even have to use them at that point. But if I want to zoom in really very close, I would hold down Option and then use my scroll on my mouse, okay? So that's Option on a Mac or Alt on a PC, and just scroll in and out, okay? And then if I'm maneuvering around a page, I hold down Spacebar and I'm just mousing around. So if I want to get from this page to this one, you could do that in no time. Rather than using your scroll bars for everything, you want to cut down on that kind of stuff, okay? Let's start with placing an image, all right? So on this page here, the right-hand page, I'm just going to use the entire page for an image. So let's go to our rectangle frame tool and draw out a box that fills the entire page. I'm not going to work in layers today because it's not as important to show you what I want to show you. So I'm going to just click on that. I have an image here. This one right here of New York City. I'm just going to drag and drop right in there. And I'll just minimize that. Okay, so as you can see, my image comes in really big, okay? There's a few ways of scaling that down very quickly and efficiently. So if you want to adjust the size of a photo quickly, it's Option Command or Alt Control on a PC, and your greater less than brackets, okay? I could also right click fitting fill frame proportionately, but what I usually do is click on the picture, Shift Option Command C, and that will fit my image to the box that I've created. So that's a really quick way of fitting that photo to the box and the content box that you created, okay, rather than do everything manually. Okay, so I'm going to hit W, put my guides back on, and now we're going to work with type. Conversely, I could also click on my image, hold Shift and Command or Shift and Control on a PC, hover over one of the corners and just scale it down like so. Okay, that's another quick way of scaling pictures and resizing them in an efficient way, okay? And so that's the idea here. You want things to be quickly, but being productive at the same time. So let's go back to our left-hand page here, and I'm just going to use my guides, and I'm going to create a little headline that says New York, comma, New York. Command or Control A, that's select all. When you're working with a couple words, that's not a big deal, but if it's a big body of text, you don't want to sit there and try to highlight everything. Put your cursor anywhere in the copy and just do Command A. That will select all. So I'm just going to make this typeface Bodini Let's do Bodini bold. Okay, so if I go up in my left hand page here where my control panel is, I can just drop this down and make it 48 point. So that's a quick way of doing that. But if you notice here, it stops at 72. So if you want a number higher than that, I guess you could just highlight that and type in your number. The quick way of resizing text is Shift Command or Shift Control. I will highlight all of this in my blog that I will also publish in this tutorial. So Shift Command and then greater less than. So there's greater than, there's less than. Let's see, something like that maybe. That's 60 point. So if I want to center this now, I can go up to my alignment panels here. You can also get that from your alignment panel here. Actually, no, that's to align the actual object. I want to align the text, so you can do that up here. My way of doing it, Shift Command C. Shift Command L will left align. Shift Command right or R will right align. So Shift Command C or Shift Control C will center it. Okay. Also, I want to touch on kerning and tracking as well as leading. So if I want to decrease, let's start with leading. If I want to decrease the amount of space between the lines here, I can highlight it, hold Option or Alt on a PC, and use your up arrow key. That reduces the leading space. And if you notice up here, right under my point size, that's leading right there. So it's at 68. When I do it manually, just keep an eye on that. And it does it in increments of 2. So I'm even reducing it a little bit more. So that's 66 point compared to the point size of the size, which is 60. So that's okay. If I wanted to track this out, it's the same process. So select all of it, hold Option, and use your right or left arrow key. So I can bring in the type. You don't want to squeeze it too much, or you can bring it out. And you can see that right here, where the VA with the 2 arrows, now it's set to positive 20. I'll leave it back at 0. So it's going in increments of 20. And then if you wanted to do kerning, just put your cursor in between a character and you can actually just open it up that way. Okay, so that's how you would do kerning and tracking. It's the same process, only tracking is everything. Kerning is just the between 2 characters. Okay. Baseline shift, if I wanted to move just this line upwards or downwards, I would go Shift Option or Shift Alt and do up arrow. That would move everything up or down. Okay. So you got that. That's baseline shift. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to create another text box here, type, and I don't have a story to go with this, so I'm just going to go up to type and insert fill with placeholder text. Okay, so again, I want to make this Bodini book. That one's good. Okay, so it's the same process. If I wanted to increase the tracking, I would hold down Option and do right arrow key. Now that's not increasing, although it looks like it may be increasing the point size, it's actually just increasing the spaces between the characters of the whole body. Okay. Okay, so that's how you would quickly and efficiently work with type, work with headlines, in terms of scaling it or resizing it in a quick and efficient way. Again, using your images, again, you can increase it by holding Option Command or Alt Command and greater less than, or just doing Shift Option Command C. And that's the best way of, because oftentimes you'll put in these images and they'll be really, really, really big unless you resize it in Photoshop to fit that specific box that you created. But again, that's time consuming. So best way of making a photo fit is just click on it, Shift Command or Shift Option Command, Shift Alt Command C, and that will make it fit. Okay, so I'll explain all of this in my blog with all the keyboard shortcuts, and that's it for today, and we'll talk to you soon.